Hello and welcome to DVD Review. I'm Mitchell Herrmann and with me this week is George Suchy. On this episode, we're going to be reviewing the comedy Bridesmaids. Let's take a look.
I'm engaged! Oh my god! He asked me last night! What is happening?
Bridesmaids is a warm and engrossing comedy full of wit and human imperfection. Kristen Wiig of Saturday Night Live is a maid of honor desperately and ineptly trying to prepare for the wedding of her best friend, played by Maya Rudolph, also of Saturday Night Live.
I am in my 30s, I have $40,000 in debt, I live with a weirdo.
You do have a super creepy roommate.
You read my diary?
At first, I did not know that it was your diary. I thought it was a very sad, handwritten book.
Bridesmaids has been called a female version of The Hangover. In fact, while Bridesmaids does retain a generous dose of raunch and debauchery, it is actually a far more gentle and compassionate film, creating a kind of pathos that, quite remarkably, manages to coexist and even complement the vulgarity. The film's plot is concerned with the burgeoning rivalry between Wiig and the pretentious Helen, played by Rose Byrne.
You're so pretty. So cute! Did you come from work?
Their attempts to outdo each other result in ever more ridiculous catastrophes for the Bridesmaids, a colorful group of female friends who are ostensibly supposed to be assisting in the wedding preparations. Raunchiness in comedies featuring predominantly male characters is usually a fairly safe proposition. In female comedies, it can be a bit more risky, especially when catering to a wide audience. Women in films generally follow a certain set of gender expectations. This can encompass strong female protagonists as well as maidens in distress, but it almost certainly precludes the scatologically explicit. Bridesmaids smashes this taboo with an enthusiasm that is refreshing, endearing, and utterly hilarious. So I enjoyed this movie. What did you think about it, George?
I liked it a lot. It was one of the funniest movies I saw over the summer. My biggest problem with it is that it is a female-themed movie. So there were sometimes I'd be watching and I'm like, well, I know that's funny, but I personally just don't understand it, don't get it. It's not for me.
Really? Well, I felt this was a female comedy that was able to very effectively appeal to a mass audience. And I think this film might even be considered as part of a sort of female comedian's renaissance. And interestingly, a lot of the comedians who are at the forefront of this, like Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph, who starred in this movie, as well as people like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, are all Saturday Night Live alumni.
Yeah. I noticed that too, and there's been a lot of Saturday Night Live movies, and there's been a lot of really bad Saturday Night Live movies.
That's true.
And although I don't think this comes directly from a sketch on Saturday Night Live, I would still put it in the category of Saturday Night Live. And for being a Saturday Night Live movie, this was one of the best ever. This was an amazing movie on that standard.
Yeah, I think this was a brave movie because, for a long time, females in comedies have been sort of relegated to a marginal status. And Kristen Wiig, who starred in and also co-wrote this movie, is really treading new ground here. And I hope that this movie will serve as a inspiration for more comedies to come.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I think the fact that it's like, we're girls, we could be as funny as boys was a very good choice, very strong. It added more to the depth of the comedy.
Yeah. All too often in comedies, I think the plot is, little more than an excuse to throw jokes at the audience.
Yeah.
But, in this movie, I think it functioned as a drama as well as a comedy. It was easy to get invested in the characters, and by the end, I genuinely cared about what happened to these characters.
Yeah. I thought the character development was amazing. Like, you got to feel for the characters, you got to feel bad, you got to laugh at them too.
I have to mention the cameo by Tim Heidecker, who, if you haven't seen his show, Tim and Eric's awesome show, great job, you should definitely give it a try. So what's your verdict on this movie, George?
I would say it's a for sure rent.
I agree. You should definitely rent this movie. You won't be disappointed. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Bridesmaids is now available on DVD. Thanks for watching.